When you build a great team, the biggest clubs come calling. Now, the question is, can we keep this squad together? Welcome back to the Sir Alex Ferguson Aberdeen Challenge here on Super Sammy Plays. With the transfer window now open, we're at risk of everything we've done so far this season falling apart. Every man and his dog is trying to sign our players, with offers coming left, right and centre for Canazun, Pafundi and Sarifi, just to name a few. We've also got our final two Champions League phase games, and we'll be looking to take another 6 points in those and finish top of the table for the first time in this save. So, how will this squad look by the end of January? Let's get into it and find out. And we're going to be starting this one with an away trip to St Johnstone in the league, looking to get another 3 points and extend our lead at the top of the table. And for Levi, finding Caretsas, who drops it back to Robinson, who gets us off to a great start, scoring in the opening 10 minutes. Before just 2 minutes later, the corner getting cleared. Lawrence gets tackled by Caretsas, and he continues his great form by scoring and making it 2-0. Just 5 minutes before half-time, Marinauts' corner does get cleared to the edge with Semi Kilisoi, and what an effort that is from him, going into the near post as we make it 3. And then into the second half, Michael Funk showing his pace down the left-hand side, cutting to the byline, pulling it back to for Levi with a first-time pass. It eventually finds its way to Marinauts. His effort hits the post and comes back to the man that started the move, Michael Funk, who gets on the score sheet as we go on to win the game 4-0. After that performance from Funk, actually getting some game time after he complained, he is being linked with a move to Inter Milan, which obviously we're not going to be wanting to do, as, I certainly have got a soft spot for him after we've had him for so long, and you can see the growth he has made. His technicals are finally starting to get to a good place to match those physicals, because his physicals, for someone who's only 5'4", by the way, is absolutely insane. But just the 4 goals and 4 assists in 15 starts, I kind of would have hoped a little bit better with the way that this team has been playing this season. So hopefully that can improve and we can fend off that interest, as he does currently have 4 clubs wanting him. Back to the league though, and it is our biggest test of the season domestically as we play Celtic. And in the 24th minute, Alisson crosses to the far post. Robinson brings it down. Finds for Levi, gets it back again, and then his cross finding Caretsas, who gets on the score sheet yet again and makes it 1-0. And then we nearly added another just before half-time. Caretsas involved again, finding Jay Robinson and his effort hitting the post. And then right on the stroke of half-time, the corner finding Levi, who heads back across goal to Sarifi. The 6'7" giant heads in for an easy goal as we make it 2-0. On to the second half, it was Celtic's turn to attack. Gilberto Moura finding Mayulu, and he does shoot just wide of the post, missing the target for Celtic. 6 minutes later, though, our youngster gets his chance to show his ability and scores a great solo effort as we make it 3-0. And then in the 71st minute, Caretsas, going past Mayulu, finds a lovely pass through to Canazun, and he gets on the score sheet as we go on to beat Celtic 4-0. But unfortunately, it isn't all good news, as Alisson has picked up an injury and is going to miss the next 3 to 5 weeks. So that is certainly not ideal after the start that he's had to this season. Caretsas, though, on form. He has certainly done the business. What a free transfer he's been. And we do continue getting offers for Sato. I'm not entirely sure what this is about, but just a 14.5 from Benfica, which obviously is going to get rejected. I did look at it to see if there was any room for negotiation, and apparently it was all non-negotiable. So that did get a swift reject in the end. And something else that will be getting swiftly rejected is any offers for Canazun. He's been linked here with a move to Newcastle for 34.5 million, which is actually 10 million less than we paid for him, and also 10 million less than what we got offered for him in the summer. So yeah, people will be getting told to do one if they come in with any sort of offer, because he's not going anywhere. Another man that won't be going anywhere, if I have anything to do about it, is Simone Pafundi, and he is extremely interested in a move to Napoli, which is obviously not ideal, but it is one of his favoured clubs apparently. But I did reject the offer at 28 million. I'm pretty sure that's around what we paid for him as well. We did then get an offer for Canazun of £39 million from Barcelona, trying to get him on the cheap, and that is not going to happen. So they both got rejected. Back to the football though, and it is to Dundee United in this one as we go away from home. And in the 8th minute, Canazun gets on the score sheet to make it 1-0. And then Jay Robinson adds a second from a Perfundi free kick in the 33rd minute. And then just 3 minutes later, Perfundi, causing issues again down the right-hand side, finds Canazon in the middle, and he gets his second goal of the game as we make it 3-0. And then 44th minute, Darto down the right this time. He crosses it to the far post. Robinson brings it down brilliantly, finds Carlos Alexander, and we go 4-0 up just before half-time. But there was still time for another goal just before the half-time whistle, but it wasn't for us, it was for Dundee United. After Barrington's cross to the far post is put in the net by Lewis Green to make it 4-1. And into the second half, Barrington gets on the score sheet himself, pulling another goal back for Dundee United, making it 4-2. But it did eventually spark some life into us as Marinowitz gets on the score sheet and makes it 5. Before, yet again, Dundee United do pull another one back after a tidy finish from Owen Sturton, making it 5-3. And then right at the death, Michael Fung's cross to the far post. Young Andrew Payne's header is saved by the goalkeeper, and Simone Perfundi does head into the back of the net to round out the scoring as we go on to win the game 6-3. So unsurprisingly, after I just mentioned Perfundi did want to go to Napoli due to them being one of his favourite clubs, he has requested to speak to me after me rejecting that move. So we did give him a talking to, and I basically just said to him, I want you to stay, what will it take? And he said, I appreciate that, but it is nothing that you can do. They are my favourite club. And yeah, we basically agreed that if you got an offer of £35 million, then we would, or well, 34 in the end, that we would accept the offer. We do then receive another offer for one of our players, this time Fricio Caicedo. Al Nassr with a £13 million bid for the centre-back, but that got rejected. And then we do then also get another offer for one of our other centre-backs, this time Pedro Silva from Inter Milan of £34 million. I think we paid around £12 million for him, but yeah, he's been one of our better players, so that also got rejected. And not one of our own players, but it does look like Barcelona have turned their attention to Gilberto Mora as he looks to be signing from Celtic. So not only are we saving and keeping one of our players, but they are also taking one of the best players from one of our biggest rivals in Celtic. And then after already rejecting 2 bids for 2 of our centre-backs, we then get an offer for the other one, Sarifi. And this one has been accepted due to it matching the release clause, which I had no idea he even had. So I did try and speak to him, and yeah, unfortunately, he wasn't willing to discuss a new contract. So it looks like Sarifi is going to be leaving the club, but 23.5 million is a nice profit on him. We paid, I think, £6 million, but it does feel well undervalued. Having looked at his stats, he's certainly improved since we brought him to the club. And Sarifi was going to miss out on this one as we play St Mirren in the league. Araujo getting a start, and in the 30th minute, Michael Funk trying to get some more goal involvement, getting across, finding Perfundi, who gets the header past the goalkeeper as we go 1-0 up. And then Michael Funk involved again, down the left-hand side again. And in the 37th minute, he gets brought down to win us a penalty and give us a chance to make it 2, which Canazon steps up and says thank you very much and fires past the goalkeeper. Bit of a wait for the next one in the 77th minute. Semi down the right this time. He cuts back on his left foot, shoots all the way across goal, hits the crossbar after the goalkeeper saves it and comes back to Michael Funk for his 3rd goal involvement of the game. And then we look to have added another through Jay Robinson, but unfortunately this one was ruled out for offside, and you can see from it, it was pretty obvious in the end. And then right at the death, 90th minute, St Mirren do pull a goal back through Tommy Coleman, but it is just a consolation as we pick up another 3 points on our way to a 3-1 victory. Next up, it is another home tie as we play Hibs in this one. And in the 22nd minute, the corner headed home from Fricio Caicedo, getting Canazon another assist. And then another set piece, this time cleared out to the edge of the box with Semi Kilisoi, and his effort going straight through the goalkeeper, unable to stop it as we go on to win 2-0. So Caicedo on form in that game. Small injury there for Canazon, nothing to worry about, just a couple of days. But yeah, Caicedo stepping up, doing the business in that one, and we have now won 25 games straight in the league. Funk being linked with a move away, and we did then get another offer for Pedro Silva, and this time this one has matched the release clause of 39 million. So that is certainly not good. We did speak to him to see if he'd actually want to stay because it's not actually one of the Saudi clubs, so they're not going to be offering ridiculous money. And he was willing to stay as long as he got a nice bump of his pay. increasing his wages up to around £90,000. So after speaking to his agent, speaking to him, we do go ahead trying to offer him a contract, and then I quickly realised that we actually have no money available to do so. He wanted 90 grand a week and we could only offer 35, so we have left it for now. Next was the Scottish Cup tie against Stenhousemuir, and I clearly didn't realise it was a cup match as I went full strength for this one, with Simone Pafundi opening the scoring in the 6th minute with a penalty. And then Pafundi gets his second goal of the game in the 23rd, firing from the edge of the box. Semi then finds Pafundi, who gets it back again, and his cross finding Marinowitz, who gets on the score sheet as we go 3-0 up in the 35th minute. And then Stenhousemuir with an unlikely goal. But thankfully for us, it was ruled out for offside, no VAR in this one, just the referee's decision. So very quickly ruled out. And then just before half-time, Marinowitz getting it back on his right foot, and a deflected effort past the goalkeeper as we go 4-0 up. Into the second half, though, Pafundi gets on the score sheet again, wrapping up his hat-trick as we comfortably go through to the next round with a 5-0 victory. So, like I mentioned, Pafundi on form after that hat-trick in that one. Great to see. And Sarifi has gone to Al Nassr for 23.5 million. Still, that also snubbed Inter Milan, so that is very good for us. We are going to still go ahead and offer him a new contract now that we have got the money from Sarifi's sale. It means that we actually can offer him a little bit of an increase. And what is nice to see is that now that he has rejected Inter Milan, he actually only wants 40 grand a week rather than the 90. So this one's worked out quite well for us. I would usually have removed the loyalty bonus, but I was just happy to see him stay after he actually did show some loyalty in rejecting Inter Milan in the first place. And that deal has gone through. He has signed a new 3-year contract and committed his future to the club. So I am quite happy with that one. As you can see, he is progressing very nicely. Maybe not quite the heading I would like for somebody who's 6 foot, but pretty pleased with him nonetheless. Then on to our first of 2 Champions League games that we've got left, as this one against Dutch giants Ajax. And in the 14th minute, Karetzes cuts back on his right foot, brings it back to Carlos Alexander, and he pulls it back to new defensive midfielder Castillo, who fires in with a great finish. We go looking for a second one as Pafundi's effort goes just over the bar from that free kick, and then Pafundi again, pulling it back this time, getting it back from Jay Robinson, and Pafundi's effort going over the bar. And then in the 84th minute, Marinowitz is trying to get involved, pulls it into the middle, and Karetzes unable to convert as we go on to win the game just 1-0. And with that victory, we have qualified for the Champions League round of 16 with 1 game to spare. But unfortunately, it is not all good news as Castillo, after scoring that goal, has picked up an injury and he's going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks. And Ansu Fati, after what has been quite a decent length of time before actually picking up an injury, decided that he wasn't going to be outdone by Castillo and has picked up the exact same injury of a moderate calf strain, and he's also going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks. And after we rejected a couple of Italian clubs, Man United this time coming in for Simone Pafundi, obviously impressed after his performance against them in the last episode, but it is 31 million, which is below the asking price that we agreed with Pafundi, so that swiftly got rejected and he was fine with it. So back to the league as we play Hearts away in this one at Tynecastle, and it was Hearts that took an unsurprising lead in the 6th minute with Richardson pulling it back to Rizzola, and his effort, great strike to be fair, putting Hearts 1-0 up. And then in the 25th minute, our free kick getting cleared to Pafundi goes back to Marinowitz. And then it was his turn to score a great effort as he put it in the far corner and levels the game up at 1-1. And then 8 minutes later, Simone Pafundi with a great ball over the top to Marinowitz. His effort, great volley, going past the goalkeeper to look to have put us 2-1 up. But unfortunately, he was offside. The goal got ruled out and we do end up drawing the match 1-1, which is actually the first time we've dropped points in the league this season as we've won every other game before this one. After that draw to Hearts, we were keen to get back to scoring a load of goals in this one of our final game of the Champions League phase against Slavia Prague. And Canazon scores in the 25th minute, getting us off to a great start before adding another 15 seconds into the second half. And then what a day this was for Canazon, as in the 55th minute, he wraps up his hat-trick, making it 3-0, and then gets an assist as well as Pedro Silva heads home to make it 4. And then 10 minutes later, Canazon intercepting the ball, plays it through to Ryosuke Sato, and his finish across goal into the far corner, that makes it 5, before Sato spreads it wide to Jay Robinson. He pulls it into the middle, and Marinowitz gets on the score sheet to round out the game as we go on to win the game 6-0. So, big result. Big performance from Canazun in that one as we beat Slavia Prague 6-0. Canazun on form. He certainly was, scoring a hat-trick inside the first 35 minutes. And we have received 10 million for finishing first in the Champions League phase. And I'm pretty sure that's the first time we've actually finished top of the league phase in this save. We have also got Allison back from injury, which is pretty good. Going into the next episode, hopefully he will play a big part in the round of 16 tie. But this is the league phase table, and yeah, as you can see, we are top of it, in front of everyone besides Barcelona. Well, in front of Barcelona as well, but they are the only team that are level on points with us after what has been a generational run in the Champions League this season. Well, we have managed to fend off the majority of offers, but we did end up losing one of our main defenders in Sarifi. I am disappointed to have lost him, especially for just 23 million, as I certainly think he's worth a lot more than that. And having seen the developments he's made over the last year or two, I think he will be a big loss to this team. Not to mention the fact that we're losing someone who's 6'7" who scores a lot of corners for us. We have, however, qualified for the Champions League last 16, finishing top of the Champions League table for the first time in this save. So we will be eagerly awaiting the draw to see who our opponents are going to be in the next round. But to see who we'll face, you'll have to tune into the next episode, as that is it for this one. And if you've enjoyed it, do me a favour, hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.